This seed spawns you on an absolutely massive survival island, stretching across about 1,200 blocks in length. And when you actually spawn in, you might notice the fact that you aren't actually, from the looks of things, on a survival island. But trust me when I say this thing is 100% a survival island, as I shall show you by showing you one, the edges, and two, everything you can actually find on and around this absolutely massive island. Starting off with spawn, because you do spawn on the stony shore, sending yourself literally right here with honestly nothing like too out of the ordinary yet. Until you actually turn around and see right off in the distance is actually this separate island that's actually incredibly vertical. Like, seriously, this thing goes from the ocean level to about, what is that, maybe Y100, 120 or something like that. Like, that's some pretty vertical island if I ever have seen one before. And also, on top of that, there's also caves inside of here. Somehow, with an island being not too incredibly big, there actually is islands inside this cave, caves inside this one island, and something else that's actually inside this one island is actually a deep dark. Yeah, because this is like a small little mountainous biome, that does mean there's just enough for it to actually have a small bit of deep dark underneath. Not enough to really have an ancient city, but just enough to find some skulk and things like that. Heading around over here, we notice the fact that there is actually a mushroom island sitting itself right over here. Yeah, this one actually is pretty much two separate mushroom islands sitting itself literally right next to each other. So in the case you want to go to the nearest mushroom island from spawn, then this one might actually be it. And it might actually be just big enough for you to actually maybe have a friend going over here. And still, we are still pretty much in the vicinity of spawn. We have not left spawn yet, and we've seen so many different things. Something else we're going to see is the fact that heading off in this direction for a fairly decent length of time, and when I say fairly decent length of time, I mean like just another couple hundred blocks, is actually going to be another mushroom island. Yeah, not only do we have that one that was sitting itself right over there, but also off in this direction, eventually we're going to find ourselves another mushroom island. So in the case, for whatever reason, that mushroom island wasn't suiting you, then maybe this one might actually suffice it. And if that one doesn't, then maybe the one sitting right next to it might suffice it too. Yeah, there's actually quite a number of mushroom islands sitting itself all around this absolutely massive, massive island. So yeah, you're not going to be short of any mycelium, of any mushrooms, of any places that does not spawn any mobs. But we've talked a lot about the surrounding areas of spawn and things like that. What about the island itself? Let's actually dive deep into what we can actually find on this one island. And you're actually going to find quite a number of different types of wood types in itself around here. We have birch, we have dark oak, we have some spruce, we have obviously a bit of oak somewhere around here. I know it. But yeah, already from probably just 50 or 100 blocks in, you're already going to find about maybe 4 different types of wood type already starting yourself off here. That's actually pretty insane. That's pretty insane for a for a normal island itself. But this is not a normal island, obviously, because heading yourself off in this direction, we are going to see many of other different types of biomes on this one single huge island, such as a jungle biome to itself literally right here with actually not too much jungle related things inside of it. Like, you're not going to find a jungle temple or anything like that on or in this one jungle, but you're at least going to have like the jungle wood and everything else like that. And a huge cave heading yourself very deep down. Probably as deep down as you can possibly go, all the way down to a deep dark. Yeah, pretty much from right up there, you can actually see the sunlight. You can get all the way down into a deep dark, which is utterly insane. So, yeah, make the most of it if you want to. And if not, then you can at the very least make the most of the diamonds and everything else you could find inside of here, like that abandoned mine shaft and many other different types of things like that. Something else you might want to make the most out of is the fact that when you actually go around this one side of the island, you're not only going to find like this tiny jungle biome or something like that, but you're also going to find other different types of biomes sitting itself around here, such as a dark oak forest, which actually goes on for a fairly decent length of time, and a tiny little Pilgarden. Like, Pilgardens typically are the biggest biomes in the world, but this one is just big enough for you to actually make the most of. Maybe get some creaking, maybe getting some pale wood, maybe getting all that resin, or any other different types of things you could find inside a Pilgarden or something like that. Or, if you keep heading yourself off in this direction, you're going to find yourself a bamboo forest. So, not only do you have a jungle forest, but you're also going to get yourself a bamboo forest. And how many wood types is that already? 7? Like, alone in a normal seed, like not on an island, this alone would be pretty noteworthy to find relatively close to spawn. To find this on an island on its own is on a whole nother level. And something else that's on a whole nother level is this one ruined portal city itself inside this one jungle biome. And unfortunately, you do have some crying obsidian you're going to have to mine yourself through, but fortunately, you did get yourself at least a couple pieces of obsidian to help you get yourself to the nether. And speaking of which, if we actually head to the nether from this one ruined portal, then what do we actually manage to find? Well, what we're going to manage to find is something you might want to use, or you might not want to use. I guess it depends on the player, but yeah, you're going to find pretty much just a wasteland. Nothing too out of the ordinary, nothing too grand or anything like that. You are going to find some basalt deltas in yourself around here too, which I guess is a somewhat noteworthy if you want to use that in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, this spawn, it's fine. It's just nothing to like, I don't know, out there in the case you were looking for a more profound nether spawn or something like that. But still, another spawn is another spawn, no matter where you go. But if we head ourselves off in this direction, I believe we're going to see there's still more island, there's still more ocean, and this is still going on and on and on, right up until we find a birch forest. Yeah, birch forest isn't going to be anything too noteworthy. We already have birch wood, but in the case you want like a huge quantity of birch wood, or in the case you want to get yourself, I don't know, a few wildflowers or something like that, then that is totally a thing you can do. And something else that's totally a thing you could do is the fact that head yourself off in this direction. We're going to have like a few separated islands setting yourself around here. Like, they're pretty much right next to the main island, so it's technically part of it, but because it is, I guess, disconnected, they are technically their own things, and they are technically their own things with quite a lot of vertical spaces we could see sending yourself around here, and with quite a lot of opening cave entrances too. So yeah, a lot of these vertical islands are gonna have like plenty of reasons to head to it, and if nothing else, the shipwreck might suffice your reasoning for coming around here too, with actually not too incredibly deep or submerged shipwreck, as we can see right here. Like, you are going to be having no issue whatsoever getting yourself inside the treasure chest and getting yourself the treasure you're going to find inside likely this one island, I would imagine. And actually, let's put this here just so we can keep an eye on it, and just so we can see just roughly where we actually have to go as we continue heading yourself off in this direction, seeing very vertical edges, heading yourself across plenty of different areas. Like, there is a lot of verticality sending yourself all around this one place. And there's also another ruined portal. This one is a little bit hidden and a little bit more built up with a little bit more crying obsidian, but also with a little bit more stuff you might want to make the most out of. Something else you might want to make the most out of is this mountain. Like, yeah, because this island is just so big, like, you're almost bound to find some biomes you might not typically expect to see on an island, but because it's so big, you do have yourself this frozen peaks biome setting yourself all around here. And because this thing actually is so big, and because, you know, deep darks do have a chance of spawning underneath these huge biomes, that does mean heading yourself underneath here, you're actually going to find something that you might not typically expect to find on a survival island. Yeah, do you see what I see? That's an ancient city. That is literally an ancient city right beneath the mountain biome. Like, in the case you weren't sold on this one seed yet, I think having this inside of the same island seed is probably going to sell it, at least to some extent. Like, this is utterly insanity. This is utter craziness to find something like this. And an enchanted golden apple, in the case you want that or something like that. Like, you're not going to be short of finding things and new types of things and things like that across this entire island. Like, there's probably plenty of other different types of things I have yet to show you and probably won't show you. So there's going to be many reasons on just exploring this seed yourself. Like, I show things off, but I'm not going to show off everything. But something else I am going to show off is the fact that heading yourself off in this direction, we're going to continue to see like some high elevation things, but not too high elevation things, because we have looped ourselves right the way back around to spawn, which is pretty cool if I do say so myself. And yeah, I think that is proof enough that this is 100% a massive, humongous survival island with many reasons on actually building here or just doing something with this one seed. So yeah, let me know what you think of the seed down below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.